Hey guys, it's Tartan coming at you with another game, Total War 3 Kingdoms. We are here with Liu Chong, the Prince of Chen, at the rank of Chen, at the rank of Prince. Here, the Duchy of Chen, and of course we've got problems, but solutions as well. We're just gonna get to it. So the Emperor is under our wise tutelage here, and Ding Yi is doing his best, to run things and make people happy and maintain order, but he is starting to feel very unequal to the task, right? He doesn't feel really comfortable with how things have been going. Now we just gotta wait here. Yeah, I think. Well, if this is where the save is, this is where the save is. We're out of money, so I assume we will just move forward. All right. Sun Jian has just popped Yuan Shu there. Now, this is not perfectly ideal, but it is fine. All right, here, this is quite nice. Hada is, not a guy I've ever heard of. He's probably a random dude because he just showed up at 197. But Don, I was just reading about him. Yeah, he's with Constantine. But the filial exemplar is here. We want to make sure to not, pop him. He's a good dude. Alright, so here, we're just going to get right to it. Yes. Now, they're not going to have a whole lot of solutions against us here. Now, we took a little bit more damage than we would have wanted in the past, but this is going to be fine. This is going to let us get this city, and from what we saw over the intern, wisely considered strategy will give us countless victories. Indeed. And Yalu, I just love her. I don't know anything about her. I need to learn. She's a Wuhan tribes person. She's married to Liu He, but that's just a thing that happened in this playthrough. And I think we want to let her get a dispensation to divorce him and marry the D tribesmen here as they travel together. Young Chen 1. Because she is awesome, right? She's got bellow and tenacity of steel, But we've got everything we need here. Our friends will be there. She's got a bow and he's got a bow. They shall bow together. And of course, the Wuhan Lancers here. These guys are crazy. 300 charge bonus. These are Lancer infantry. These are guys that remember what it was like to be on horses, and they carry halberds. They are very heavy metal. If they get a charge, they get it done. So you want them to be in the middle of the stack, right? G Militia as well. Our G Militia have 50 morale in this army, which is bonkers. And with Han Jian around too, they'll be at very, very huge morale. We won't have to worry about that. No, not one bit. It's just Archer Militia there because we're broke boys. And we'll have these guys in the center, spear warriors behind to adjust, and a fake way in with the Wuhan Raiders right there. And the Lancers for the counter charge. Yeah, seems Seems abstractly like a thing we can do. Let's get to it. First, it's time to deal with Lady Feng. While He and Miao Shangning get on their way over here. Now, He is on his way out. You know, he's become a pacifist, right? And Liu Chong got pretty upset with him for an earlier strategic decision that he felt endangered a lot of people. Big no-no, right? But here, of course, he heals, which is, you know, great fun. But we're actually here gonna just take... Oh, she's got a bow as well. Well, that is a horse of a different color. This is a good one? I mean, it's fine. We actually kinda... Now, she will give them Strider, and he will give us this protection. Neither one of them have that special of weapons. But she's gonna pop them, and now they will be embroiled among the cataphracts. Should be okay. Should be wonderful, actually. Yes, indeed, it is. The bellow plus... I think this dude has, like, terror. Oh, he's got the negative 50 armor gold weapon, too. That's right. Together, they can reduce it a lot. All the time. But He will not quite get to retire away yet. You know, we've got to finish this campaign up and get him a good retinue so that he can hold Chang'an. But she's like trying to brawl now. Lady Feng, we fought her once long ago, of course, but now we are wheeling once more. But after 5 bouts, our 3 heroes were unable to destroy her, right? She was tough, she was evasive. Nah, really, it's just that heroes on horseback are not very good at hitting other heroes on horseback. But we know how to get out when the rest of the cavalry is coming in, and it's like this. Now we need to get back with our troops. As we know, she has quite a good bow, so we're just going to try to get away from her there. Boom, boom. And of course, with 70 or 80 morale, with Han Jin around, you know, we can fight to the last. And of course, she has a missile block, but our heroes now are ready to roll. Starting to take some fire arrows here. We're just going to get around on this side because she has, you know, now gotten into a position where all 5 of us are here. And the champion says, if you want to duel somebody, Heda, you duel me. Yang Chen won. Bellows out a challenge to Heda. It's like she was trying to die, right? This runs all the way out. Also, hey, Luke. But here, with the troops surrounding him, the brave, the mighty, I remember his name someday, Yang Qianwan, duels against Heda. He says, I don't know who you think you're dealing with here today, sir, but all of the men who live will remember that this was your last. And of course, we still hold out the hope that we're going to be able to get a hold of and Yang Shenwan has emerged victorious, which is very surprising. And it looks like we have an excellent opportunity to taunt them a little bit. You know, let's not get popped here. 'Tis a silly idea. There we go. You wanna duel me? That's hilarious. I mean, they're both nearly dead, but... Alright, time for the Wuhan riders. Boom! Where are our horses? They say. They scream out. Charging in. Totally putting a beat down on these militia, and indeed just rolling over that whole flank. And you know, the suppressing fire is actually working out pretty well for them. They're going to bounce over here, reasoning that these people are totally unsurprised. But no, we get in very well and lay the beat down on them. And then with the Saber Militia coming in, we're going to charge them too. Alright, we're embroiled in spears here. So you can't bring yourself to do it because of, yes, you always want to play Jean-Louis. Yes. You know, when you have a preference, how do you really get outside of it? But, oh man, all day at work, I had such a good job. It's because I was focused, like, internally writing the story, you know, for how we were going to explain the future here. Liu Xie, why don't you join me? Because, you know, at some point soon the Emperor is going to ask, you know, as says in the description, where are the supplicants, you know? Like, where are the people bringing tribute? Where are the guys asking for stuff? You know, where are the representatives from all around the Empire? And we're gonna have to tell him that we're all that's left. That everyone else, even if they aren't in open rebellion, are certainly not listening to us about anything, even though we've tried our best to be pretty chill. And, you know, and we'll have to explain to him that we don't really love our role in this, right? Our hope was to defeat the tyrant, and then, like, everything would be fine. We would go back home to Chen. And instead, look at us now. Will we ever get to go home? Because the prince is most loyal to the House of Han, of course. And of course he would do anything that needs to be done for it. But he misses his patrimony. He misses being the Prince of Chen. You know, he misses just making sure that people got fed and, like, just, like, thinking about crossbows and stuff. It was great. He misses not having his wife around. We probably need to get him another wife. In the context of the game, it'll be a divorce, but in the context of the story, we'll probably have her suggest it to him, you know, because we actually, I've been brainstorming a thing for her, you know, we're going to call her the Lady Who, probably, but, or who, we'll figure out how to pronounce it, but we win this battle here. So she's basically been studying this whole time and setting up, like, the ammunition stores while she was doing, you know, all of the assignments, you know. So that's going to be the context for the trophy that gives us more ammunition. And she's going to be, like, big artillery train girl. So, you know, the whole land is going to quake when they hear her name, and this is just going to serve to annoy him even more, because she's, like, very focused, right? She's a solitary one, you know, she's a thinker, so she's always, you know, doing real good at stuff, which kind of annoys him, because it's not what he thought his wife was going to be like, you know, and we're going to play on that dynamic. They're not going to have to hang out, basically, at all. Taishitsi and her get along, which makes sense because she would have been in the city this whole time and stuff, you know, thereabouts. He is arrogant. Exactly. They don't get along, and why not just get him a wife that he likes better? She'll explain to him. Not Lady Feng, obviously. We're probably related anyway. But we're not just gonna axe her. She, you know, she's friends with Yuan Yin, who was a brave general, right? The only brave man there. So, in interest of that, and, you know, because Han Xin doesn't want to, you know, probably will release her. You're done. You know, everybody gets one, right? Everybody gets one. Your rivals are nobody we care about particularly, so we'll release you one time, even though everybody would like me better if I didn't. And do I have a peacekeeper there? She's several Qin peacekeepers. She is the Qin peacekeeper. Yeah, but we're going to give her, you know, give her some artillery. She'll have to have peacekeepers, of course, and then Taishitsi, which will have, you know, whoever we get there, probably at least a couple of the Chu Blade Masters to represent, you know, the people coming in. And that's the thing about the special units that we can, like, start weaving into the story too, you know, because now that there are 3 million people in Luoyang, how's the Emperor doing? The Emperor fares well. You know, he laments, or rather is thinking about lamenting, you know, we have it hasn't really sunk in, you know, that the Han has fallen pretty far from its lofty heights, but he is safe here in Wanxian, and hopefully that'll all continue on. And Luo Xun and Zhu Rong get to be oathsworn, so that's good. You know, they're very Yufalo available for recruitment. Please be. You know, we've been looking for men of merit, right? The Emperor has instructed us to do so. Well, we're going to recruit him anyway to take his stuff in the event that he's not a guy that we can get. And, you know, let's see if he's a spy. Because his faction just got eliminated, right? And a horse lord showing up to the Emperor would make 1,000,000% perfect sense in this context. He'd be showing up and be like, hey, I don't have anywhere to live anymore, y'all. I messed up. By the way, I'm real good at cavalry, though. Do I have a place? And that is exactly what happened. The mercenary Chan Yu is here with us. His tree is all sorts of weird, but... Oh, got Marcus Scorn. Okay. And then Nature's Ally and Bulwark. So not moves that I'm crazy about. Gives speed and diplomatic income from tributaries, which is crazy nice. 25% speed is cool. Oh, Luke, no, not 5 million, like 18 million. 18 million. Yeah, we are We are doing people are straight flocking to our domains. There's already 3 million people in Luoyang. Like, the people love what's going on here. There's plenty to eat, and it's mainly peaceable. But yeah, 18 million. Which is probably pre-Civil War numbers for around in here-ish. No, I don't. No, there's a lot of people in here, though, right? In between... Because this river is the Huai River, or it's this river, or this one. There's a river in there, right? In between the rivers that you have to care about in the game, which are just the two that, you know, sort of delineates some of it. But before the war, right, yeah. So we are, I mean, it's amazing. Yeah, we've got, there's 4.2. There's 4.2 in Luoyang. By the end of 1625. Well, in this timeline, you know, the wise leadership of the prince should be leading us to better things. And this guy gets to persuade the gentry, which could be very important later, right? Because faction support can matter rather a lot depending on what's going on. But we get Yufalo. This is very excellent indeed. Liu Xie fell in the battle. I didn't... You know, I guess he was in the red thing. I didn't think we had somebody run him over, but... Well, you know. And Hada falls as well. He was just a base dude, but, you know, he fought bravely. We spared them only for them to die. So, who already know, it doesn't make no sense. Show up here. Yeah, I mean, showing up to the Emperor, if you're a warlord, you know, and the word has just gone out that, you know, talent is being sought. You know, the Prime Minister explained to the Emperor, you know, well, there aren't that many, you know, upper-level ministers here and stuff. It wouldn't be appropriate for the prince to be doing such things. I'm like, they have Bastion artillery here. Yikes. Hopefully it'll be fine. We're in a very safe spot here, right? Yeah. We lose fortitude for... Maybe it's for winning in a siege, because that's bad. I don't know. We need to keep this workshop, because we need... We need to have that resource for stuff. This one doesn't lead to it, but, I mean, we hardly want to just chop them down a place that's making even a little bit of money, right? Oh, okay. Han Court tried to report him as the Chanyu, the Zhangnu, but the Southern Chanyu rebelled, didn't acknowledge him, fled here, had the support. Stuff. Well, at least now, you know, at the bright young age of 44, now we are going to take away these swords. I mean, maybe eventually. We kind of want to get him into battle, though. I mean, don't we? He has some Qiang hunters. Some sworn shield, heavy halberd infantry. You know, we're going to have to keep all the weird stuff, obviously. Even though these aren't very good. And they're quite expensive. They're resistant to cold, I guess, and immune to... I mean, still, like... He has the mighty knockback for himself. What's that? Because mercenary inserts mostly in Shadow in the north. And that's why the base game, yeah, Shadow in the north. Ah, yes. But yeah, we'll, you know, and in his retinue, that'll be a nice little boost of special cavalry. Not that these aren't new noble cavalry are nearly as good as our thing, but, you know, they're different anyway. You know, they've got more hit points. Supported Yuan Shu in a battle and lost eventually. That's all talk about. Yuan Shu, speaking of, is right down here and very far indeed from action over here. And Han Xian, thank goodness, gets to this level. Now, knowledge of the body, I'm like, this one's fine, right? Because that is going to be better than recovery. We'll remember to use it at least sometimes, right? This can hit a lot of generals. So, boom. And if we were around like a strategist ever, I know, me and a strategist, it'll eventually maybe happen. It could. But he's close to the Hun as far as I'm going to go. Yes, and it's great that he showed up, right? I mean, does he... Oh, after he left, he went to Xijie. Man, Xijie is like a very fruitful place to recruit from. I actually don't think we've even met him, right? And he's always getting people, so we need to be looking for people that are from there, because they're never spies, right? This guy's a spy, though. But, you know, well, you know, this guy is a treacherous rogue, but, you know, hey. Because I don't think we've met Xijie, which means they can't be spies. And we need to get some guys. We need them very badly. We have a ton of assignment slots. This thuggish footman, is that really what we want here? Have we met Liu Zhang? No. It is what we want. We need guys. We need to get people on assignments because... it's important. Everybody hates this guy. Red-soaked hitman. Definitely a spy. Yeah. Alright, so we got our thuggish footman and treacherous rogue. And this guy, you know, has night battles for the armies, and this dude is solid. You know, for all that they call him a treacherous rogue, you know, maybe that's just what people call him. Oh, he starts in Lu Bu's faction. Well, Hao Meng, I bet, you know, I bet I should have recognized your name from reading romance. I bet you're like one of those dudes that's around that does stuff. And his capital is now established here. So does there have been built in to make up a trade? Oh, is he the guy that popped my dude, the administrator of the thing? Is that him? But hey, you know, if he's loyal, he's loyal. These guys are all willing to spy, which means they're all trustworthy enough. And then we can do replenishment here. It says we're doing filial and corrupt with Liu Ji, but in in the actual story of the game, he's hanging out and doing tutor stuff and, you know, making people stressed out. So he's like, well, you know, if you really think about it, what is the right thing to do? And they're like, oh, don't start that again. Building here. And public order, you know, granary. It's all about the granaries, right, with this faction. That's what we believe in. That's what we're all about. That's what the people want to see. Sun Xian is here. Now... Just get a non-aggression pact with them. Greatly impressed by your performance, but distressed by overstepping his authority, Prince. Yes, that is what I was meaning to get to. Because, and it's making Dingy nervous, because of course, Liu Chong does not want to be in the position that he's in, but who's suitable. The unfortunate thing is, that is literally what all these other regions have said as well. But if Liu Chong were to put down the mantle of the Prime Minister, which he very, very reluctantly is around anyway, you know, what becomes of the Emperor? These are the problems. It's not better, you know, Dongzhuo in any case. Indeed. Could we move the capital back? Yes, we want to. But it's like a lot of money, right? Yeah, 20k. Yeah, we can't quite afford it. I mean, really, it's the Emperor's choice, but you know, we're rebuilding, you know, the palace and the tombs of the emperors, you know, although looted, are being, you know, restored as much as we can do. It's more expensive to rank up. Ah. It's like, I remember being 25k. Okay, so the commerce, because we were doing the negative thing. Yeah, we don't need commerce buildings like at all then, right? Because we're always trying to, yeah, because a bit of corruption plus the other negative, yeah, you know, and really the industry building doesn't do anything. We just need to get it for the resource so that we can build higher level, like, stuff, I think. Vassals, I don't think anybody wants to... Yeah, no one's closer than negative 35, and none of those people are next to me, so we can't trade them or anything. Man, I worry about Ma Teng a little bit, and obviously Yuan Shu, who is an enemy of the Han still, and doesn't look like he wants to stop being an enemy of the Han either. We see that a lot of our neighbors are, you know, well, that Song is totally fine for food, but a lot of our neighbors are in bad shape on that front. Because they're far away. Oh, I meant just, like, because I couldn't, like, trade them a capital or a city or whatever. but...
很荣幸再相见。
I guess we got a bunch of weird ancillaries I don't care about. You know, we're almost there. And we use our first Imperial Decree. Hey, you know, he didn't really want to do it. He's only at war with a couple minor people. And, the decree has gone out. The Emperor said, well, we've got to have, like, at least a vassal, right? Shirley said, man, nobody likes that this is happening. Probably because the Imperial Decree makes people upset, but maybe not. Maybe they just don't like him. Sun Qian likes this. Well, we're already preparing for Liu Biao anyway, so yeah. Yeah. I mean, we do have tons of political, set up with the very high reserves paying off into imperial favor, so why aren't we doing it? Good call. And we mediate the peace. That's going to make us more trustworthy as well. And making 1.3k out of the tributary, which is, of course, just a turn. Amazing! And, in 204... Nijuada... becomes the first member of the Han to pay obeisance and, just show up properly for it. And what we want to do now is get on the road and hopefully be able to beat Sun Qian to it. It's not like the end of the world if we don't. And he's about to end there, we'll just... We need to get somewhere with high faction support for him before he moves off, right? I mean, you can recruit anywhere, I guess, but... So we've got the army slots for it. What I mean to say as we're talking to ourselves, that Hokui, this is the last battlefield command he's going to have, like, in general, right? We're going to move him. He's already the administrator here, and we're going to give him a big guard army and throw him here. You can return to the north. That's a Chinese problem. Give him a good army, have him go kill rebels. Yeah, I was wondering, because I didn't want to send, obviously, we don't want to send the White Wave bandits, the previous White Wave bandits, back up into those mountains. We want their sturdy with some of those. Yang Feng, I'm not sure where we're going with him, but Zhu Hong, of course, once we get through right here, he's going to join up with the prince's army, and he'll be his sworn sword and shield, but really massive cleaver of a huge man with the cleaver of mountains. He's such a beast, and only getting stronger, but he'll only get stronger if I keep on playing the game and stop talking to myself and you, which means if we can just move forward. What are we hold up on? Nothing, right? Our prestige from this gets us very close indeed to the top rank. Now, we would want to do this to
吾等耐性有限，
eliminate him. I mean, he's got a little bit more here, but, you know, Sun Jian having a foothold on this side of the river is not ideal. It's not the end of the world. I'm not, like, super worried about it. For one, we get along with him fairly well. That's worth it as far as you can throw it, right? But he's not, like, that bad of a dude. You know, it's Sun Tzu that you gotta worry about being all like, oh no, Alexander the Great's my neighbor on you. Comparatively, anyway.
心如止水，气聚神凝。
We shouldn't declare king until we can actually afford to. Oh no, for sure. We don't want to declare it. We just want to be there so that we can start potentially giving away administrators. Oh, are we not able to do that? Yeah. Like granting independence to administrators to set up things as other tributary states, because that is absolutely something I am interested in doing here in this sort of medium phase, because a lot of this land, you know, especially the safe land of the interior, if we get a person with a good personality, so much the better. Or if we draw talent from around the empire through spies, but really just the emperor calling one and all to come and be recognized and you know, be given a job and say, like, stop working for these warlords, you know. Y'all know who the real guy in charge is. I've absolutely had it with you, type of thing. But not like for right now, but if we just took like a bit more over here, or like once we, you know, move into this land here, you know, because, you know, if we just gave, you know, one of these, you know, pay to somebody or whatever. Can never trust administrator vassals. My idea is, say they're more prone to rebellion than normal vassals, is that you just look at their traits, and if their traits make them seem like a nice and chill person, then that's the guy that you give it over to. And if they have anything at all that makes them seem like they're cool and awesome and fiery or brave, then like you don't want it, right? You want calm and solitary people, right? That's what you want. That's my superstition. But we get the capital here. We have freedom of movement here, right? Yeah, of course. So we just want to move up this way, reasoning that we can probably get away with it. And we can, and that'll just give us some vision over here. Very important to get the vision. Yeah, we just gotta keep on rocking the axe band, right? And just spending so much money on stuff, but hey, it does pay off. Eventually, some of it pays off sometimes. This Jade Craftsman is basically useless to us. Well, that's not true. Let's just recruit things. Alright, let's get moving. Oh, okay. You set him up as an admin after your same personality in your Rose Light Theater. Oh, maybe that is a thing, you know, maybe it happens like one time before they settle in. Or they're like, hey, you know, I had to take my shot. Alliance of Wuzhou declared war on the Old Turban Rebellion. Well, that's very nice. It's the autumn of 204 and all's well. The Rangers outfit shows up. I don't think I have the thing that makes items. I like to think that because we have so many people, the things come in to us, right? The Lady of the Elephants gets a level, and Song Xianrao gets a level, getting the filial and corrupt. You know, he's a local hero. We'll totally get him in somewhere eventually, and maybe give him an easier to pronounce name if we do that. Ballistic rain. Some get dry and others feel the pain. Ballistic rain. We get a huge corruption after 5 years after restoring. That's the one thing that was the hardest to absorb. We get faction support and public order serious access. See, I was thinking we'd be able to deal with the public order and faction support thing with like persuade the gentry and because we have the emperor, but I guess yeah. Why would they make the emperor counteract the things that worry the emperor? But we'll just get this here. Yep, stationed garrison it is, and we just want to keep on moving up towards the palace. You know, when you have 4 million people in your place, you can build 4 extra buildings, which, you know, I never get population, so that's so good, right? And at this point, you have 150% bonus to income, but of course, massive public order hit, but we have quite a lot of stuff trying to work towards stabilizing that across the empire. And here, I almost want to drop the admin to make a granary. No, we'll be able to upgrade that in a turn or two. Like, I'm just worried about Chang'an. I want it to be able to defend itself, right? Because, you know, help could be far away. But right here, we are setting up for a nice showdown. Now, we know Yuan Shu has night battles, so if we go here, he might move up to try to do it, knowing that that would be cool, and then we'll just retreat twice, and then we'll be able to get him on the crackback. And if not, then we'll be here. And we need some cav, right? Yeah, we definitely need some cav. Now we need his retinue to stop being useless. There we go. Now with access to level 3s, because these are just archer militia here, right? Like, and repeating crossbowmen, although maybe they did work. But anyway, you two diehard warriors, they're what he's got. They're affordable. They're quite good for their price point, right? But of course, we get a discount from a couple of places, but we'll keep 1 repeating crossbow, because why not? Now it's the trademark, and then move to a nice crossbow. Well, we'll just keep the repeating crossbows for right now and swap the other ones in a bit. These guys are all better than that. You know, the G Militia are fine. We're going to keep them. I don't care. They're fine. Yeah. We'll get Royal Guard or somebody, some other cool unit, maybe, but yeah, the G Militia are fine. We've got huge morale in that army. Normally, normally I don't believe in the G Militia, like, at all, but now I'm like, okay, maybe it'll work. And big arms crossbows, yeah. I did notice that in the fight where we had them. Of course, here, finally, we're, you know, doing okay work on this front, but there's only 500,000 folks here. Alright, so I think in all the useful places we're already on that assignment besides here, so we'll go ahead and get on that here, and Taishitsi. Well, we need Taishitsi in the army with our wife. Let's go ahead and just rename her, right? Hu Shishong, which is her name, but now it has been subsumed and she is now just... well, you know, I guess you can't get rid of the name and make it just one. Or I guess maybe you would make her first name Lady. Anyway. But she's styled that way now. We're just gonna call her Lady Hu. And that's what everybody's gonna call her, you know. She is healthy, solitary, and modest, which of course Liu Chong can't stand. All she wants to do is read books, and she's so good at it, and it annoys him. That's why he hasn't seen her in a bit. Variety of crosswise, yeah. The suppression was pretty solid. And in this army, with these hilarious lancers, I mean, you pay for them, but that charge bonus is hysterically good, right? And they did some work. I don't care they cost 325. Variety is the spice of life, indeed. We gotta keep on rolling. We gotta keep on rolling. All right. Now a turn of replenishing here. I mean, he gets it too, but well, we can't get there in this turn, so. He'll go to encamp. Alright, as much as losing turtle, I don't care about it actually, do I? No. We're just going to take campaign movement range. Well, no, because he's about to go into the... Well, we can move it later. It's fine. Right now, he'll have it, and that'll let him definitely have the movement there. Because his trait is for own army movement range and, you know, evasion, which is just amazing, you know. Own army traits are so good, it doesn't even matter how good they are, and his is very good indeed. But we'll never get to see it in action if I keep on talking about how good it is. Let's see. Can we afford anything? No, we have exactly 1 money. Alright, can we push any other vassals in? Well, you know, Liu Biao actually is quite close to doing it, and he is in the imperial family, so, you know, things are going a little closer. We will, this legalist fanatic, you know, we might actually end up using it later. We don't need anything that increases commerce. Surplus distribution seems too good to get rid of. The champion's leather is the set one. The noisy cricket isn't. We don't really have that many red guys. Trade the glaive. Decree, which pays for a lot because he, you know, is very close. And our favor is still very, very high and going up by 12 a turn. So the decree is going to still have us quite over 50. And then we will offer a bit of food. Oh, 2 food. We will offer 2 food. Alright, yeah. Not too bad. Not too bad at all. Yeah, I mean, and now they're just saying, hey, we get it, imps. Big guy. We just didn't know what was going on. Everybody had a high opinion of Liu Chong, but it is unseemly for a prince to be engaged in such things, and we feared the worst. But now that we see how good things are going, and how the people flock to these banners, you know, we all trust in his good nature, and want to start paying tribute.
准了。
And the ancillaries we send do, you know, they represent also sending, you know, major figures in commerce and business, and you know, metal crafting as representatives to can tell them, you know, that, you know, there's plenty of food there, and things are very good, and you should probably pay the emperor what you owe him. Speaking of, more tributary income, glorious stuff. And Liu Biao, who loves us, is now under our umbrella. You know, I forget about guarantee of autonomy. I forget about it all the time. Because I'm like, 30, that's too high. Sending specialists to definitely MTR. Exactly. Because that would be crazy. Why would we be sending a bunch of empty armor sets? Yeah, like, these are the guys that make the ritual stuff for all of the people, because we've been making so many temples in the countryside that now there's a whole cottage industry around making clay dogs, because now, you know, even the lower peasants can have a temple of their own. You know, times are very good. You know, and these represent, you know, the promise of more of that. She's got her scandal. She's still fine, though. Alright. We'll go to next turn, and then... Oh, well, no, we can try for Wong Wong right now, right? Yeah. But we'll send him some more specialists. To get his affairs in order... No, I keep clicking the wrong button. Make regular payments. There we go. You know, just a little discount on the tribute. Make it work. And, you know, the only people that hate what we're doing here is the Duchy of Song, which, you know, okay. Ah, wonderful stuff. And this is so much money. Perhaps Liu Chong has been promoted out of princedom to becoming governor of Sili, but would he want it? And even if he didn't want it, would he accept? And under what terms? Because since his son was born, it's been the second most sincere wish of Liu Chong's heart to ensure that he could grow up as the Prince of Chen and live the happy and carefree life that Liu Chong was able to have. And the most sincere wish of his heart, of course, is to, you know, uphold the family honor and safeguard the emperor through whatever, you know, whatever means necessary. And now, with 3.4k in tributaries, that's so much more money. Amazing. Automo 204 is pretty good. And we're beating up on the Duchy of Zhong while we do it, which feels great too. Now, we know that our tributaries here are few and far between and weakened, but Wong Long may not even have land at all, but at least he accepts our rule, right? The acceptance of our right to rule is very important. People gotta act right. Liu Biao, you know, is starting to dislike us some, which I hate to see. Wong Long does have a little bit of land there. We just didn't get to see it yet. Well, you know, Yan Baihu and his bandits there, we might send a force out depending on how things go, because I don't want to be forcing too much of what we do, right? I mean, we've got the logical wars we're in right now. A whole lot of people of merit. Now, please... Heyo, Clint Eastwood's here. But also, So let's see, Hongba, the man of the 50-foot mustache. And as we tell this story, y'all know that I want that. Y'all know that I want the man of the 50-foot mustache involved. So we'll see if we think he's a spy or not. And we're gonna try to pal around with Guoxia because, of course, Liu Ji is the one who keeps on saying, like, hey, maybe it's not a great idea, you know, for Liu Chong to be doing what he does. And we're like, hey, like, I don't like it either, but, like, are y'all really saying it in public? And Sao Min likes this. Well, you know. Cool. And our spy on this front. Are you fighting Kong Rong? No, he's fighting Liu Bei. Well, you know, we'll extract him as we can. Which is now. We will run interference. Wow! Oh my god. I thought we could leave. We can't. Alright, we're... You know, if we max out, we can extract. This dude is... You know, maybe we should have looked. Anyway, that guy was not leaving. States he also might be a spy from the Liu. Is Liu Bei alive? Yeah, okay, he's just bleeding generals. Or they all really want to join me. Gong Sum Gong. Neutered, castrate. Man, buddy. Hard knock life. I think Liu Bei is just trying to send a lot of spies to us. But maybe it's just that they all joined him and they have bad personalities. But we're going to try to get the man of the 50-foot mustache because, of course, we are. Oh, you may not have the looks, you may not have the cash, but you'll win yourself some loot if you only got a mustache, he says. Come on, buddy, don't be a spy. Zotzi Hangba, welcome to the party. Of course, he is a bandit guy, so he gets mending and stuff, and that's very good news. We're just going to get him on assignment out here. You know, why don't we just... You know, maybe Liu Bei did beat a lot of bandits, and they all joined up with him, and then they all left at one time. Do I myself aspire to have one? SPQR, hey, my Roman friend. You know, 50 feet mustache would be pretty cool. Yeah, Luke, I'm getting a little bit of notification every now and then that it's stuttering, which is too bad. I think maybe it's because we're not working hard enough, right? We're not working hard enough, but I gotta, no, we're just gonna be playing for a bit longer. I'm trying not to stay up till 2 a.m. again so that I can wake up tomorrow and play, right? Alright, speaking of, let's continue, right? Why are we worrying about recruits right now? I mean, I know why, because I saw them and I wanted to see if we could grab them. You know, we're just gonna see if he wants to party, right? I mean, all these other guys we've been getting from Liu Bei haven't been spies, right? We're just gonna grab her for the axe anyway. Alright, so you have to leave. Sorry, buddy. You can stay. That's right, you don't have the cool thing. You're like... You're like the worst version of a sentinel, but... Married to Zhang. That's right. That makes sense. Anyway. Now that we've got a little bit of money, let's see if anybody else wants to work for me. $20 is a lot to push through. We'll just wait like a turn. Oh, there we go. Yuan Shu has seen fit to drive out here and, crucially, has abandoned the city. We're going to be able to roll right up here. Oh, this is straight out of the books, right? Type of behavior. I mean, not this exact scenario, but, you know, Sun Jian, from his perspective, had been just beating the brakes off of Yuan Shao, and then all right, there maybe it's working now. I'm sure I don't know. Anyway, because, yeah, so here he already has the minor faction or the minor settlements there, and doesn't get a major for the landfall at all. I wonder how that'll work out in the long term. But he likes me a lot, right? We're like broed out. We're cool. He likes me. He's not gonna like pay me, right? But so we're gonna guys all in their own right. But anyway, let's get to it. We need to get to the next turn. You know, I sure hope that me talking a whole lot about my hopes and dreams and plans is good and not boring, because that's what we're getting. That's what we're going to do. All right, so here, the better garrison, the better thing. Yeah, that's just what we do, right? The police headquarters, why not? Lu Bu is our friend and is not threatening us. He is just walking through. That is okay. Lots of people walk through. It's fine. She's the level, but as long as we get all the level 1s out on assignment, it won't take... But I wonder where Yuan Shu will go. I figure, I mean, I guess he comes down here and tries to fight us off, but... It's just a regular garrison with no admin. But look at the forces of Wu around, right? And, oh, there we go. So this might... Oh, well, no, he's still got this place here with Yuan, who I would love to get because that's like my girl, right? She's got a great ability. But we spent all the money. We've completed all of our dreams. We wouldn't have money to recruit a spy anyway. Of places that are important so that if they get besieged, they'll be there with their guy, a retinue of crossbows, 2 heroes to be on the wall, you know, and get all that going. The alliance of Liu Bei declares war on Wang Kuang? How dare you? And he leaves Cao Cao's alliance, though, so there you go. Cai Mao has got Liu Biao involved in a war with Duosi, which is very good for us because we want Liu Biao engaged somewhere else. Because why else would Mike be in the game? Dynamic Mike. But It's... Hey. Look at that. That's our guy. Ting's like... So, remember when you told me to go ahead and come on over? I did you one better, boss. I did you one better than all that. We're like, what did you do? He's like, me? Do? Nothing. I'm pleased to say that I'm the one in charge now. His hips don't lie, and there's your reference for the day. We could sign an agreement with Cao Cao. Is he still an enemy of the Han? Yes, so we're not doing it, even though that's funny. We could siege engineer for his army, which actually, you know, we're kind of at the end of the war here. Please say that I'm unfortunately in mourning for my dearly departed father. Yeah. This is a terrible thing. A terrible thing. I think we can all agree that it is bad. Anyway, we're pleased to offer our service. Alright, and then we will re-roll this guy's bad personality a little bit, encouraging his positive character. I don't actually think we need to spend the money on these. Yeah, it's fine. Look at me making correct choices of money, because we don't have another war right here, right? There's this war to wrap up, but I honestly think that the Duchy of Zhong, I mean, they've got 1 billion enemies, and, you know, their faction leader is drifting. And Qingpu absolutely wanted to help out here, but, you know, it was forbidden.
万民之声，不可小觑。只有稳固发展。
With that, we occupy another city. This one makes us no money at all, but could eventually do. We're going to keep the temple for right now. Till we see what's going on. Ooh, a watchtower garrison already. That's nice. You know, the commerce income and the industry, you know, will likely just...
今日此战乃是大义之胜。
Yeah, I think you get more money if you repair them first and then sell them. Anyway. On level 7, we get 2 points, so we can take whatever here.
春暖花开，乃是天意。
We're gonna take evasion then, right? Maybe it'll matter. Could also get some of the expertise, which gives evasion. Shushao, the distributor of rations, you know, he loves giving people rations. Everybody knows that about him. And we'll get this the builder set, called the Bob set, depending on who you are. His people love him, and why wouldn't they?
根壮而后，枝叶繁茂。
And here, do we want to hit the granary? I mean, there's probably more impactful ones that we can make for less amount of money around the place, right? Do we go for food? Yeah. So we need to support Liu Yang going up higher and higher. Food, 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 because again, Yuan Shu is about to be pushed back, and then it just remains to be seen how Sun Jian is going to feel about us, because if we can stay on good terms with him, but once the war with Yuan Shu is over, you know, can we? We will have to see. It's actually quite nice, you know, it's just not like that incredible, but I mean, it's just because we've got... This is so good if you don't have reserves, but I mean, the garrison replenishment is great, though, because that combined with other faction effects, right, you know, we'll be able to... Yeah, I mean, you have single turn now, you know, you come in before the year is out, the garrison's in full form, you know, that's a price worth paying, right? And of course, our reserves per turn is so big now. 18 from the infrastructure. That just means the granaries that we've got. That is so stinking many. And we're going to... Go here and go to ambush. And then if he goes up there, Zhu Huang, because he's got huge movement, should be able to move up, and then we can fight him off there. And he was starting not to be subsidized cake. Yeah, you know. There should be absolutely no starvation. You know, the food supplies are beginning to dwindle, but so too is the building of more granaries and more farms, you know, and as long as we can stay at the level we're at, you know, you hardly want to break a level 7 town down. Yeah, he likes us all right. All right. With that in mind, is there anyone who wants to pay their respects? You know, it's important to do this, guys. Y'all don't act like we're not trying to get this money. Is this guy not a bandit? No, he's... You know, he's got favor. Has the offer of autonomy... And oh, the decree, we're so far away that the decree would just make him more mad at us. One of the inspectors. Oh, okay, yeah. Well, in that case, he should be delighted to receive this jade sickle. And it's a real jade sickle. The wooden dogs are the craftsmen for it. Not a threat. He's at war with Liu Xie, but Liu Xie likes his idea. I guess Liu Xie likes his idea because we're in the coalition, so he knows that anybody that's my vassal won't mess with him. Yeah. Okay, so actually, when I get a vassal, Liu Xie doesn't actually have to have mediated peace because he's just fine. Ah, and my eye rejects the war. That's alright. You know, we become trustworthy through such things. Yeah, he just loves me, so he's fine. And now, you know, lots of money. Because, I mean, before these tributaries, you know, 4.7k, that's so much. And now I can't break deals with that. Ah, okay. I see. They can't be like, I'm not going to be in the coalition because you're going to... They would have to just leave the coalition afterward and declare. Okay. In that regard, it's actually kind of nice that we got that coalition with them. You know, although they never reinforced us in battle. Because as they dwindle down, you know, just holding people back is good. Good for them. Good for me. Dongbai. You know, I just look for any sign of her, but I'm afraid. I'm afraid of the worst. All right. He gets along with everyone except her. But Xingdaorong and Yongfeng become Oathsworn.
全军注意！
Bet if he broke through lines, people invest up. Bet even more reasons he could fight from King. Yeah, that's what I've been thinking. I'm like, and then, you know, and then we'd have Lu Bu for the final act. Or rather, however elongated the final act is, because it pleases me tremendously to be playing this campaign in the manner that we are. When I say all day at work, I'm just like thinking about it. I'm not exaggerating. I did so good. I didn't like burn anything or forget it, or, you know, it's fine. I did a good job, but I had all these ideas going in my head. I told my buddy at work, I was like, oh yeah, if I have like tears in my eyes, don't worry about it. I'm fine. I'm thinking about my fictional character looking out at the beauty of the fields, you know, that kind of thing. He's like, all right, man. Yeah, sure. You know, I'm a very normal person, so whenever somebody hears something like that from me, they just take it aside. Liu Pan, why are you insulting me in such a way? Cai Mao. Alright, well, if they're fighting Ma Teng, at least there's that. We continue as the Prime Minister. Okay, so if you have them just a bit, the penalties go away. But obviously, we're going to continue as the Prime Minister. Ah. Okay, so here's the thing, you know, you can Master of Puppets who's pulling the strings, but I don't particularly want to get this, you know, we're just gonna hold him in there. Because, again, I don't, like, want that land particularly. Can you still extract him? Yeah. No treasure points. Ah, well, you know, I didn't even think of that. Oh, he's... You know, the Confederation would have been the people, which, I mean, is not nothing. I'd be kicking myself if they had some hero I really wanted. But yeah, because the looters have taken over Donglai now. Their hips are lying. And now we got eyes on a little bit more of what Cao Cao has going on, of course. So we know he took that from Daoqian. But, you know, with Liu Yao as our vassal on this side, you know, we will hopefully be able to help out a little more. But Need to finish off Yuan Shu. That's much as obvious. How to do it. Alright, so here... Yeah, this is how we do it. Hit him here, and he runs away, and... And he won't be able to run away again. Beautiful. We're at positive 9,000. Confederation with war points, right? Yeah. There's like annex. That's the last thing I want. We want our Diplo high. Easy to gives family states rather than incomes. Family states aren't subject to corruption. Ooh, that is nice. All right. Well, I mean, it's already midnight 20. I should... This won't take too long. Yuan Yun is here again. I'd love to get him on our side, right? He's got that income from family estates. I'd love to get this sword. Yeah, that's the spirit. Run on scripts before sleep. My brother might hate to hear me say this, given that I'm always staying up too late and talking loud, but I would stay up even later and talk even louder if I wasn't trying to go to bed on time to not be a jerk. Alright, so what we want to do is get the crossbows quite far apart in this lineup here. G-Militia in the back line, you know, they, we'll have Hanjian there to keep everybody happy. We got knowledge of the body now, and the spirit and the mind and all that. It's all good, too, and he heals. So what we want to do is get them up to the front, get some shots out, and then, you know, pull the others in. Keep the Lancers deep set. The Yujo diehard warriors have with the wedge formation. You know, they're all right. They've got their two halberds. They know what's up. Now what we need to do is weaken the cataphracts. We're not too worried about the characters here. I mean, Flames of the Phoenix is a little bad, but hopefully Zhu Hong will be able to get up here. And you want a duel? Yeah, very well, I accept. Zhu Hong will be sorry to hear, but of course Yuan Yun is the one who challenged him last time, and she's gonna be like, ooh, a brawl? Yeah, don't mind if I do. Zhu Huang very frustrated. He's like, no, the rules say that I'm the one who gets to take the fights. Oh, right, we actually have Cav in this backup army. Sick. And of course, his ability doesn't really work, but his weapon is amazing and gets him down to, you know, 20 armor. And yeah, he just deletes all of that. Wow, he ran from the duel. He ran from the duel. Maybe I clicked the wrong button. Anyway, They clearly won their duels. I don't know what's up with that, but the cataphracts here are basically falling apart as they approach. And here we go, into the center, into the flank. Cavalry shows up right on time here. Need to get them back on their horses. Heal all 4 of us, that's good enough. Go for a knowledge of the mind. Hamstring. Beautiful, beautiful stuff. Popping all of them, and then pull the cav here and here. Onto the cataphracts here. Charge and charge. Yuan Yin wants to go again with Zhu Huang, who cannot respect anything more than this guy. You know, when the story of the Yuan family is written, it will reflect that Yuan Yin was the bravest of them. Having faced Zhu Huang before, most men, most elephants, most tigers would not do it again. But he bellowed out a challenge, and with a mighty grin, Zhu Huang accepted. The outcome was never in doubt, but the bravery of Yuan Yin must be respected. He survived several bouts, but was worn down gradually as the heavy infantry fell all around. Yuan Shu was falling. Yuan Yin fell, surrounded by the bodies of his enemies. He'll get better. Oh yeah, the White Wave Rally, that's right, we've got that whole thing. It's actually kind of nice, huh? Sure, it takes our evasion, but who cares? Oh yeah, I got distracted. This battle's still going on. I mean, it is fine in that we are... Oh yeah, let's pop the axes, right? Oh right, these guys have axes. Oh, we didn't really get this army engaged. It's fine. But yeah, sorry, reform building for Gong Suzan. Yeah, Luke's the one to go for that. I haven't played him. I've played Liu Biao, Lu Bu, Zhengxiong, and this. And only, you know, in Liu Biao, you start with vassals, so getting more money is pretty easy relatively. But yeah, no, I'll definitely play one in a different region eventually. But yeah. And then does every... Yeah, Luke's explained the thresholds there. You get dragons at level 7, and once you're a king, Imperial units level, exactly. And then there are special units attached to minor settlements, and of course you those are different depending on what region you're in, and add a bunch of spice to it as well. But if you're not playing the Han factions, like if you're playing bandits, then you don't get all the Imperial units, or indeed the dragon units, because you have a whole different structure for how you recruit. But it's like, so not everybody can recruit, you know, like the spear warriors at the beginning, or like, you know, so everybody has their special unit still, and then they have like a worse unit of everybody else. So like not everybody can get, you know, the crossbows at level 1 or whatever, but a strategist can. Not everybody can get spear warriors if you want to go green at level 1, but a champion can. We take the replay because everybody hates him, and because it represents them coming into our army, which is exactly what is happening here. And then get over here to Biting Gale. And the vertiginous quake, you know, gets it up, but he's a punchy guy. No, Reform does not unlock units at all in Expanded, and let me tell you, it's the best change in the world. Nothing's worse, in my point of view, than playing this long, having to focus all on one tree just for a unit or two. The way that this game is so much more thrilling to me now, with the difference in recruitment and how varied we can get an army at the end, is just night and day. It's so cool. I hope to one day think about another game the way I think about this one. Yo, Dragons, like, because when are you ever going down that tree? When are you ever going so deep red to get the, you know, the Jade Lancers? Maybe they're cool, but, like, are you going to spend it on them? And alright, what we see now is perfection. Hopefully somebody else deals with them.
真是浪费时间.
And while they would, you know, this would be a terrible idea because everybody hates them and they're an enemy of the Han. Like, he needs to get right, you know. Plus, he used a forged imperial seal to tell the people that he'd received the 9 bestowments, which was a lie. That didn't really happen. And we're going to find out who has that seal, by the way. They've got some explaining to do. Yeah, we got to get into it's too much of a worry that at least one of the people that we don't want to fight right now would be like, look, if you're going to vassalize him, then, like, y'all, we're not doing that. And then, you know, we get some people to become better friends. Liu Chong becomes better friends with Deng Yi, which is good. Alright, what we want to do now is just, you know, he can just... Oh my goodness. He still has the anti-thing as the leader. We're just going to sit here and not do anything. The faction has those effects. Got it. Well, Karen, you are the highest level person that is willing to do this, so you are gonna get there. And we're just gonna yank her out, and now she's ours. Bulwark of Gu Pass. Oh, I was pretty sure that that was Liu Xie, sir. Shu Jing. This guy's just a farmer, and that's good. He's a spy, and that's not. This guy we recruit because he's got a couple of ancillaries. And any ancillary at all represents, right? And we're gonna hear this person out from Black Mountain, but of course we're gonna be told by the trusted bandits that we have there that, you know, they're trouble. The Zhang family is there, and here we get... No, we wanted to get to, yeah. We wanted to get him in an army. We got him, Guo Xie, that is to say, Guo Xie. Let me just say it wrong again. Alright, so he's not a spy, but he is, you know, the Prince of Black Mountain. Do we need such a prince? He's a normal commander, not a bandit commander. He has the bandit patrol ability, which is potentially solid, right? Because bandit patrols lets you give negative supplies to the enemy in your own land, right? It's Wu Pass. Oh. Yes. Gu Pass is this one up here. Yeah. Like, let alone tone. I'm like, I struggle pretty hard with everything in this game. But, sorry for the changing term. Yeah, yep. Settings are in turns. Yeah, you know, since I'm always talking, I barely notice how long it takes. I'll often be talking, thinking in my head, oh, it's an intern, and then it's like, not. Alright. Diplo here. Legong. We just didn't want to grab you earlier because...
朋友，欢迎。
we were trying to wait. 13's a lot, but is it? I mean, is it a lot? Have you considered these stone pigs? And of course, with a small discount on his payment. Liu Chong, a cousin. Okay, so yeah, not exactly, and they're not like all. So Liu Chong is a direct descendant of the Emperor Ming, who's the second emperor in the Eastern Han Dynasty, and he's like, I think 6 generations past that. So that's I think it's 6. That's where his line is. His family has been the princes of Chen for ages, and they're related to that emperor directly. You know, his prince ancestor was that guy's kid, but no, the Liu clan in general would be possibly the imperial clan, but like not everybody with that name would have it. There's a scene actually where several scenes in romance pretty early where like Liu Bei is running into people and you know, because he has distant relations to the imperial family as well, which these are like direct relations for the Prince of Chen. It's much more prestigious, right, for him. But also the prince is like they're not supposed to get politically involved.
甚善，
But
算是谈妥了。你我已达成共识。
there's
Well,
no relation. He was from a poor and unprestigious branch where, you know, once he introduced himself properly to people, they're like, oh yeah, of course, that definitely sounds legit. But he wasn't like walking up to somebody and they're like, oh, you're the imperial relative from that place. Like, people would have heard of Liu Biao, right? You know, in the neighborhood. But before this, before Liu Bei kicks off pretty heavy, in history, it takes him a little while. You know, he's constantly working for other people and things aren't going well. And in the romance, of course, as well, Liu Bei has constant setbacks. And although he has a good reputation, like, personally, he doesn't have, you know, any external legitimacy beyond his relationships to the family, the imperial family, which, like, he prevails upon several times in order to stay alive. Liu Yang and Liu Dai are brothers, neither were close related to Liu Xie, the emperor. Yeah, and it's just like, and then there are Liu people that aren't related at all to the family, except that they're in the same clan, right? Because the clans, some of the clans are really quite big. As I joke all the time, oh, I don't remember the whole name, one of the Zhangs, you know, because it's like, it was Zhang something. Now that could be, I don't know, 20% of the people in the setting. But what it means is I don't remember their name. Zhang Kai is the one I always forget. Although now that I'm rereading Romance of the Three Kingdoms, I'm more likely to remember him. I'm getting too animated. We need to end this pretty soon. But this is a good stopping point. Hey, Lu Bu has come to visit. What are you doing, buddy? Going to fight Cao Cao? I mean, like, go nuts. Oh, fun. Same genus, same clan, same. Yeah. For sure, and which would have been, you know, many hundreds of years before this point. I think so. When that comes across too, that is a way of saying this illustrious ancestor is this guy's claim to fame, right? So he claims to be related to that guy, but that guy was ages long ago. A lot, you know, it's yeah, it's sort of like if you wanted to believe him, you could. Like when somebody's like, I'm related to Charlemagne, they are, but what's it worth? Whereas you could contrast that sort of like with somebody like Kong Rong, who is, as far as I know, like very definitely related to Kongfuzi, who we would say in English Confucius, and what they would say differently than I did whenever I tried to say his name. Y'all know I cannot pronounce anything right. If I ever learn how, I'll tell you all about it, but I don't think it's in the cards for me. You know, where I'm from, we can't even say the fake French words right, and they're the names of the places sometimes. Peasantries kick in here. You can do tax collection, which you hardly hate to see. Let's tank public order a bit. I mean, I guess. This guy just needs to get to work, so. Or wait, no, that guy could have been a spy for all I know. We didn't check him. This guy's definitely a spy. I was supposed to take his stuff away. Alright, well, we've managed to attract a lot of talent in this video, including the mercenary Chan Yu, which is very exciting, right? And if we could possibly justify getting him into a minister slot, really quite good faction effects, but want to make him prime minister. Yes, we need to make a way to make it make sense. I'm gonna go to bed. We're gonna have to brainstorm it, right? We need to make it make sense. Because whenever I do my very high effort fan fiction for my own video game playthrough and stylize it like romance, it has to make sense. Did prove their warfare bearers. Well, you know, I am suspect that genetic heritage leads you to success in warfare. But if somebody came up and was like, I'm related to Hannibal, I'd be like, how? And then I'd be like, would you like to take over Mars? We might have to be on Mars for a while. I assume that's not a problem, Mr. Barca. Mrs. Barca, whichever. Obviously, if this was a descendant of Hannibal, I'd prefer that it was a lady for taking over Mars. It's just a better sci-fi book that way. But I digress very slightly. Basically, it's always about taking over the world, but preferably China, you know, could be some other place. We very much need to get our guard posts up because, you know, Liu Zhang is right up here, and at any point they could be trying to come up here, but as we get here and get our garrisons up, you know, and this is really about making an inhospitable environment, you know, for the foe and giving us, you know, happiness and safety. That's what it's all about. Liu Yang doing fine. We're broke as a joke again. Put a position where it's not literally a position that is a sponsored state. That's so much better, isn't it? And you know, ever a typical thing to use one group of the northern tribes to supplant and make useful the other ones. And I had been thinking, who do we send north, right? And then, because Yufalo, we also have, you know, the other horsemen, Yang Chenwan and Yalu, who, you know, when they get their audience with the Emperor here in a bit, when everything happens, she's gonna, you know, sort of impertinently mention that she would prefer to have a divorce. But the thing is that she's married to Liu He, who is somewhat in the imperial house, right? And so, you know, she because she's not like, you know, she just wants to marry this awesome horseman dude who's a big hero, and they can travel around and get in adventures, and then they can meet up with Yufalo and then go into the north, unite the tribes. Yeah, exactly. And I think that would be awesome. And now that we have Yufalo, that would be a possible thing. Nijambe, indeed, not least for those excellent headhunters if we can get some, but we will keep an eye out. Alpha Lady is, oh yeah, that's right. That's right. Do we bring the elephants to the north? No, for practicality's sake, it would be cold. For our sake, we could, you know, make them fine. But anyway, oh man, what a good time. I'm just loving it. And it's all coming at Millhouse, right? But we're just gonna end right now, and before I do anything else and continue on playing. Hey, this was just like 40 minutes of signing off ish. No, I do adore what we have going on here. The thing is, like, we need to brainstorm is what are we doing with the air situation once we restore the Han. Now that's not going to happen in the next video or anything, but we need to figure it out, because obviously Liu Chong cannot accept and must not accept. And his first son, it's his most fervent, wish for Liu Xie to be the Prince of Chen. Liu Zhang is actually not his kid. She's Yaru's kid. Right. Yeah. Yeah, he needs a worthy wife, indeed. And here we are looking around for worthy women to marry him, but yeah. I'm gonna actually administration and probably be liberated later. Yep. Excellency works. It makes sense, even though he would prefer to retire peaceably. We're obviously gonna prevail upon him to keep on working hard for everyone. Alright. We are very close to the prestige for king, which we're not going to take, but still nice to be at. Which we totally could break this magistrate, but we'll do that after we're in enough spot for it, but there we go. Yeah, because no matter what, Liu Chong must not, reign over the Han. That would be extreme impiety, right? Which is the thing he got tried for in his youth. And not just, like, it's not like he's traumatized by this or whatever, but, it's not the right thing to do, And it's also not what his dream of life is. Liu Chong is like an amiable and awesome dude, and he knows full well that the Emperor will never have the freedom of a prince. But he can hardly turn his back on his nephew here, even though he is 63 years old and should be able to retire. Which, this is going to get brought up whenever Liu Xie starts telling him that he's, acting unbecoming, because Liu Xie himself is 65 now and ought to be retiring. Oh, it's a Karen joke. I'm reading it now. How rude. I demand to speak with your administrator. Amazing. It gives you negative satisfaction if they're the leader. It gives you plus 5% replenishment if the spouse is prime minister, faction leader, or heir. So we're going to marry her to the prime minister guy, and then we'll get a replenishment bonus. That'll be great. It's like, Karen, I'm like, Karen, and then I look there, I'm like, wait, that's absolutely what's going on there. You're welcome, Luke. We found a joke character right at the end, and she is a great wife, right? I mean, she's gonna make a... and so much the funnier, right, that she's gonna become the wife of the prime minister here. And then it's going to be like all of these dudes all get along and they all don't like the women, and they're all going to pretend that it's not because they're girls, but we're all going to know that they just liked being on campaign a lot more, before Karen showed up. Karen. We're just gonna call her Karen. Anyway, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. I really hope you've enjoyed. I'm having just the best time of my life. 18 from the field reserves. When you get really big granaries, you get tons of favor, which now I'm seeing is absolutely why Cao Cao in all of these playthroughs that you normally see is fine, because he, you know, we've taken the granaries now, but he just extended too far and got declared an enemy of the Han. You know, he dreamed too big. There's a lot of that going around. Gong Zan is an enemy of the Han now. Duchy of Zhong, enemy of the Han. You know, and we're not even making that happen. Still, we want them to be at peace and we want them to pay me. Maybe next turn we'll be able to get another one, but that's all for me for right now. Luke, good night. So good to see you. Selena, I hope that you guys, that you are, you know, enjoying, and maybe I'll see you in another stream or video. And I, you know, even if they weren't directly related to Sun Tzu, you know, I would say that Wu did the most with the least in the Three Kingdoms showdown, right? Because the lands that Shu Han represented, and especially that Cao Wei represented in you know, power, you know, like, I just feel like they were in a better spot dynamically. But I guess Cao Cao took over a lot of, like, Nanyang and stuff where Liu Biao had been shortly after that, though. You know, if he had managed to hold on to that. Thanks, Liu Zhang. Better only tactically, yeah. But I guess, you know, not as much potential, and if you ever try to get out, you are in the same position, like with the whole northern campaign all the time. You're placed in the same position that your enemies are. It's just as hard to get out as it is to get in. Yeah. Well, we're a prince. The prime minister of the Han. Things are good, right? Things are good. The treasury is treasuring. Wonderful stuff. The Diplo pays for the upkeep for the units now, and now, you know, at 10k a turn, we're gonna be rolling pretty soon. But anyway, I'm gonna go to bed. I will be back around tomorrow. I don't know if we're gonna play this in the morning, right? It's my day off, but I might play something else and then just do like a big, you know, 4 to 7 hour chunk in the afternoon. But I'll see how I feel when I wake up. May play a short one in the morning and then take a nap and then play even more later. Anyway, when I find out, you'll find out. When I know, you'll know. Or 10 seconds later, perhaps I'll see you there. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Good night, everybody. See y'all. And, you know, I love this campaign. What a blast. I need to get back to reading romance, though. I'm in a great part there, too. Sun Tzu has just had a big old duel with Taishitsi, and, you know, Taishitsi came out with his helmet, you know, and they're all talking trash at each other, and, you know, great stuff. Anyway, that's all I've got right now. Say glad I'm enjoying your favorite faction. Yeah, you know, the faction's fun. The bonuses are cool. This story, because there were so many opportunities for it not to be perfect, and it's just perfect, right? The tyrant came out of the mountains at us. We couldn't have at us. Like, it's so much better that the story is how it is right here than if it was we crossed the river and attacked Yuan Shu and, you know, had a pretext, you know? Like, it's so much more history how it could have been, you know? But I'm sure that there will be some terrible things before too long. It's up to the Prince of Chen to rise above them. Good night, everybody.